You know, if you just want like a little beer. Or just no beer.
Thanks. I got it, well, in the mail today. Figured it will be my fall shirt.
It is a very cool shirt.
Yeah. It's like, I will just wear this shirt. My uniform. Like what?
Just never watch it.
Trees and yeah. I'll never watch it.
I'll never watch it.
I figure as long as I wear a shirt under it, it will be okay. And since it's small, I'll be able to do that. Like, I don't need to like be warm, you know? So it's like, I can make it work.
Spanish from Netherlands. There's a same video. It's on 14th Street and my friends here. And I was
Sangria place, like the
it's
special
open
ones.
bar for an hour of sangria.
Oh,
So, you want
I don't know. I mean, I have problems
I
with
can't drink that
sangria,
much, yeah.
being that it's fruit and rotten fruit.
Yeah.
Like,
So that was a little bit.
But anyway, you know what?
like,
Speaking of Rick Holder. Speaking of British shit.
That's what we do. Hi there, Steve. I know how long I'm playing. My name is Sarah. I was hoping to figure it out. It's great because it says like. Back, I was trying to like. I'll do it here with it.
But then for some reason I don't. I am just in the business of if volunteers like to
so the
presentation on. It's not against the.
Well, you know, Max is his younger brother.
But the teacher just had to look at it.
So much people for me. Or there's an option.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not.
Yeah.
do you like,
I don't know. They pay $5.
but you bet on numbers and like,
I guess there's like.
I'm not sure it was true.
who wants 45?
Yeah.
Hey. I like that.
Maybe it's just a wrapper.
Yeah.
But I didn't take it. They're not paying for
But
it.
I do it, I guess as to what they're.
But I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, once it's like,
There's a big year at the end center.
it's not that much.
How much is
You buy it, and it's and it's
Huh?
no for the gross.
I
Yeah,
mean,
just knows that.
I don't know if other drinks are open.
an open bar encourages drinks, like,
Just message me if you think of that tomorrow.
this is my head pretty much.
Just message
He was
me.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Interested, and I'll tell you.
I do it after.
You can buy it. You can buy it.
That was good.
Because it's not bad.
Did you guys?
Yeah, I should.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait, do we have
that's
to
it.
discuss?
I don't think so. Yeah, if you guys have a problem, I
But if you probably get it, I'll definitely. Yeah.
Things that we are kind of it's not like,
I had like weeks.
my cold is sick. I'm getting over. Kind of
So I was pretty major.
yeah.
Really whipped out my Friday night.
Yeah, and just do what I just can't deal with all this now.
Yeah. All of it. This thing.
Yeah, it was.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
The Dixon place, I want it either.
Hi. Pebble.
My first place, so this is, I already got the word for takeaway.
Yeah, actually.
A lot, like, there were some people that really nervous, and like, counted. But I asked a lot.
Thank you so much.
Now, do you, like, how do you get the train to Dixon Place? Like,
Why?
yeah?
I applied this under situation. And then I was like,
What
okay,
part of
I'm
stuff
gonna
that's
do this. We're gonna be like,
Thank you.
no. But I haven't went back yet.
Keep your roots.
Maybe they'll be like,
It seems like they'd probably be perfectly fine.
I see not here.
Yeah. It seems more like, what? It's more
Once
just
I
like,
have,
oh yeah.
once I like establish a relationship.
Yeah. All you have to do is apply and really.
Yeah, I've applied, but then my first year I applied and I didn't get it. So I didn't apply for like 3 years.
Oh.
And then this summer I applied, and they're like, sure.
Perfect for our relationship.
What did you have to do? Like,
It's like show was and like what else. The deadline on
It's not
for
good.
15
yeah.
years.
I mean, I am, but maybe more like in the future, I feel like I have to figure out something longer, like long enough to get, like,
Like in this year,
yeah.
it's just split up.
Okay.
It's not a solo.
Right.
And they often do that. You did a better audience. But, and it's cool that they have deadlines for rolling deadlines. The deadlines are like manager performance.
There's always, they're always accepting it.
Yeah, so like if you miss the deadline, it's like.
I would have been until 6 because I was like, oh,
This is
we have
we're
to
working on,
right?
like,
Wrong game.
working on the.
Right.
Video.
So I am all right. Right. Then like, and then the fucking finger came.
Obviously, you would be glad they can have this front row seat. How are you?
That's legal.
I'm trying to get more of an actual video.
It's like,
It would be like,
You have to make sure that all this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I checked out your, I checked out.
It's not like this on and I got walk on and I was like, oh my god.
Oh, I love it.
Cool. Well, it seems to me, I was impressed by, because I didn't think the process was as you thought. Don't become a megalomaniac with that.
This is 2009.
Well, you what the rally did?
I don't think demonstration.
No, you were not at the climate rally today because we were coming in. I think I came across it somehow. It wasn't, I think the BHQW side. And they said, PC Smith. I said, oh, that's false.
Oh, well, you can sit there if you want. You can
That's your monitor. Well, good. We'll leave them. I might do a little Kelly of the Gen mythology. Some stuff up there. Warm up the It's a feature or it's a two-part. It was long, it was like, everything was like 1200 words. How long is the first part? It was so good that it didn't weigh on me. But I like it myself and take full credit. Good, well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that small thing, Don. Right. And you got that read the fourth that was maybe the second part. That was early on. But I do remember that. No, I thought it was like, I felt like just covering ground that I really knew, but more completely than I ever could have wanted. Let's face it, a lot of his announced purposes and a lot of what he thought was the circuit have to gap on the craft is kind of, how should I say, loosely organized or loosely, I mean, we have to be restricted to what people know. It was very, Don't worry about it. I'm getting signal on Yes. No. I don't know. And they just like, I and the oh, by the way, and be asymptomatic. And I'm told it's not a lot of mine. How do you have the problem is that and the doctor only had to see that he was fine, no matter how big, and it could be during my first interview, I was worried about it. And yeah, he had to see each when he really got the MRI, and it it's different. It wasn't
They just like to carry on the story.
as a person, you know, this is my but MRI, you probably know. I drive on I didn't want to say it. It corroborates. It doesn't why would you leave me out? Now I have to tell her.
You can sit here or here. Yeah.
And where you're next to there.
It's not a scientific dude, I'm just thinking other things.
Oh, the tower. Fish got bailed out.
Thanks you guys for coming to Humor the Abject #2. Yeah, thank you for coming back. I thought we would cut a lot of you out, but that's okay. Welcome. This is radically inclusive and an open invitation. My guest today is Al Bedell, who is from the same town as Snooki.
What town is that?
Okay. In that.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
A lot of hardcore music up there.
Yeah.
Cool. So Al's going to talk about her work, and then we're going to kind of engage her in a conversation. You can feel free to use that the John Lyman reading as sort of an anchor point if you want, or if you have different types of questions, that's fine. But I'm really interested in sort of engaging Al with ideas about audience and to whom her work is intended and who is sort of reading it or responding to it, et cetera, based kind of on that Lyman reading. At 7, we're going to take a short break, and well, I'll have to have you guys exit the room for a few while I set up Casey Jane Ellison, who is going to join us from LA via video chat at about 7:15. And then when she's done, we'll finish up, kind of wrap up our conversations, and go to Jersey. Anybody wants to go. But before we start, I wanted to begin a tradition of sort of conviviality and generosity in Humor in the Abject. So I have a gift for our guest to start. Close your eyes out. Please.
Oh my God!
Wait, don't open your eyes.
Oh my God! I love I'm so scared.
I can smell it from here, for God's sake.
Okay, open your eyes.
Thanks. Wait. Yeah, that's really funny.
Like your cocktail?
Hemingway ate your hits.
Okay, so I guess now I'll start. Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Al, and I'm not really a comedian or an artist or a performer, really anything. I kind of just use the internet a lot. And yeah, so really it's been weird ever since I joined this website called Twitter. So I joined Twitter in like 2009, and I was still really yeah, so I got Twitter in 2009. I was still in school, and it was just like normal, like going to school stuff, like, oh my god, the guy in the top hat has the big desk again, or there could be an Adderall vending machine in the library, oh my god. You know, boring, nothing that great. So then I moved to New Haven, and I didn't go to Yale. I went to New Haven, which was weird. That was a weird time in my life. And I kept tweeting, and I worked in a pizza place, and it was terrible. I would stay at the pizza place for like 11 hours a day, and no one would come in. So I'd just be on my phone, tweeting, just like in my mind, oh yeah, let me just say this weird thing that came to my head and put it out there. And so I started tweeting more, and there's this one guy who's from Boston. His name is Travis Hallenbeck, and his handle was Dream Cross at the time. And he followed me, and then when he followed me, a bunch of other crazy weirdo net-arty kind of people started following me, and I was like, ooh, what's going on? I've never like seen these crazy thoughts coming out of these weird people. Like, who are they? And I realized that they were who get it. And so I guess in the reading it was like there's like called his audience like a comedy circle, and I guess it's just like connecting to these people who get it. Like, they think it's funny, you think it's funny, and everyone thinks everyone's funny, and it's like a cute little community. That was a long time ago though. So yeah, so all these people were connecting, and Travis, he ended up making this book, and I was like, wow, maybe Twitter is like more than just a website for like weirdos to say inane things all day. It's not, by the way. But this is a real company guy, and my tweets were in there, and I was like, oh my god, my words are on paper. This is crazy. This happened from Twitter. Just saying the dumbest things on a pizza place. I think there's one in there where it's like, oh my god, what if those American Cuban people are so yeah, I was like, wow, there are people who get it. It's crazy. Where are all these people? I've never met any of them. And I kind of like established, like, I realized that everyone had like their own like way of speaking. They all had their own like way to tweet or joke, different mannerisms. I guess mine at the time was like desperately needing to leave New Haven and get the hell to the city. So I moved here, and this is where most of the weird Twitter people live, and I ended up meeting them, and they're really great life. And yeah, so that's the thing. Love New York. Being here is crazy because I draw so much inspiration from the complete shit that the city is. It's miserable, and it's really hard. But it's also really funny, the things that you see here, only in New York, you know? New York is funny. I don't know if I can. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, so I moved to New York, and I ended up meeting my ex-boyfriend from Twitter, and we ended up living together for a little while because in New York it's cheaper, and it was terrible. It was really bad. So I made this outlet called Well, I needed an outlet because I was just like, I didn't do anything. I was just like with my boyfriend in this tiny like, little space like all the time, and I was just bored, you know. And so I made this Tumblr, which is I guess kind of foretelling of what I would be doing with my social media presence. The link's still working anymore because it's so old. But so it's just like I would just show these gifs of like me showing things in my room. Just like in my room, like a stall. There's a functional arm. There's a swim notebook that I have. That I do sometimes. Let's see, just find one more. I don't think any are like that funny.
Funny phone.
Do you want to see funny
Yeah.
phone?
Who's embarrassed to have such a
Yeah, my honey bun is cute. So that's an iPhone 4 that I lost at like a rave or something. And I just, of course, gift for my. Okay. And that's something I believe in. Anyway, how do I get back to this thing? How do I get?
On the bottom, on the right, do the full screen thing. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I made that, and my ex-boyfriend hated it, and he was like, you can't do that anymore because it's just a fetish blog, and all of these creepy voyeurs are just jacking off your photos, and you really need to stop. And I was like, well, at least people are looking at my Tumblr. But yeah, so I stopped, and that's whatever. So, we dated, I stopped doing that, we dated, it was terrible, it was 2.5 years of awful shit. And, so, by the end of the relationship, I made this video. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Can I play the channel?
Yeah, but I need to plug you into that.
Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry. Okay. Alright. So, I've actually never watched this video in my life, so it's really hard to do.
Alright, so you're watching this video because you like a guy and you want him to like you back. So I have some advice for you. If you want to follow it, you can. So here we go. Okay, so the first thing you should do is research his interests. You should find out what he likes and research it. So that way when you're talking to him, you can drop it very casually and he'll think it's so cool that you guys share the same interests. If you don't know his interests, I compiled a list of things to maybe brush up on before you talk to any guy. I like to call these things voided. So, electronics, skateboarding, music, graffiti, sport, bourbon, whiskey, and scotch, and you should know the difference between those three. And names of full albums. You should also know the difference between an LP and an EP. So in addition to liking the same things that he likes, you should also have your own interests. Because that's really well-rounded, it's unique, and really for you. Another thing is that you should have a healthy appetite. Guys really like that. If you're on a diet, they don't want to hear about it, and they want to feel like you can go anywhere to eat with them, and they don't have to like worry if you can or can't eat something, you know? So, yeah. Another thing you should do is read, because it's cool, and it's fun, and it makes you smarter. And it doesn't matter what you read, you just read anything and everything, except Ayn Rand. You learn HTML or CSS, that's pretty impressive. Learn to cook your bakes, couldn't hurt. You shouldn't talk about other girls or compare yourself to others, because you only want this guy to think about you. Why would you want him to think about any other girls? So Just don't do it. It makes you feel bad too. You should take care of your appearance. It's pretty important. I have to say it's important. Make sure you feel good when you walk out the door. Don't like layer on the makeup because that's not a good look ever. But like mascara or like lip gloss or whatever. You should give him sincere compliments. If you like this guy so much that you want him to like you back, you must think he's pretty awesome. So you should tell him so. For example, if you go to his art show, instead of being like, that was so amazing, you should say, I really like the composition of this one piece. Can you tell me more about it? That brings me along. If he talks about himself, he'll feel really comfortable around you, and no one enjoys anything more than talking about themselves. It's true. You should laugh at his jokes, obviously, make him feel good. Even if it's not that funny, you can feign a little giggle if you like him this much. Also, you should don't do it. Do not obsessively text him. Just don't. It's so annoying. It is so annoying. In the same vein, you shouldn't post so many cutesy animal photos or videos on his Facebook wall. It's annoying, and guys don't think it's that cute, they think it's weird. An alternative to doing this video thing, you should send him short emails that pertain to his interests, like an article that you found will research in his interest. I don't know, make it personal. Another thing is you should make your own money and be independent, because that's really important, and you shouldn't like a guy for his money anyway, because that is really gross. Another thing is do not lie to impress him. I once made the mistake of telling a person that I went to an Ivy League school.
Yeah.
And that really got back to me in a bad way. It's embarrassing. Don't do it. Don't lie. Be yourself. It's important. Another thing, do not stalk his ex-girlfriend. Anything. Just don't do it. It'll just make you feel bad, and it just doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. Also, you should do something good for yourself. You should do yoga, or work out, or read, or do something that you like to do so you like yourself. Because if you don't like yourself, how is anyone else going to like you? So, just love yourself. Also, obviously, you should be his friend. Because even if he doesn't like you the way he does, the way you want him to, maybe you could just be his friend and he'll be in your life, and maybe that could be enough. And maybe friends, maybe he'll come around, you know? And yeah, so that's my advice to get guys to like you. You can take it as you will, and
Yeah, that was really hard to watch. Oh my god. So, that's the thing. See how many people really. That's pretty good. Yeah, this girl needs fucking therapy. Is she serious? I promise bad advice. No. Don't want to be a girl who reads anything.
Dudes don't like my ranch.
So, yeah, I've posted a lot of videos people hate. So anyway, yeah, that's the thing. So I made that, and my boyfriend and I broke up like a week later. Yeah. So then I was single and in the city and loving it. So then I decided to just really go for it with the tweets, with the drinking, with the pending. I was just like really, really going crazy. I quit my job. I was just like nuts. And I realized that the more I went like crazy in my life, the more I put it on the internet for everyone to see, and the more fucked up my life was, the more attention I got from everybody, because I love to see these horrible things that were happening to me, and everyone really likes to see someone like suffering in a funny way or something. Like I made it funny, like, oh my god, lost my shoe in the fucking, I don't know, like things, bad things.
It was a party.
I lost my phone again. Oh man, huh? And, yeah, and people are like, wow, this girl is something. I hope she's all right. So yeah, I just like added more fuel to my poor decisions because they were funny or something. It's kind of sick how I've relied on like that kind of validation from it. And so I because I was doing this, I got to see what my audience liked, and I just like kept giving them what they wanted. I learned that there's like a weird kind of tweet format that you could use that's just like easy to read for everyone. Like I'm eating shrimp and giving a lecture, and I'm dead inside. And that's like a tweet that people would like. Well, according to K-Star, anyway. These are my top-rated tweets according to this website called K-Star. This is what the people like. Those are all yeah, so I guess I kind of, like, I in the reading, Lenny Bruce talks about, like, how a joke that lasts 1 minute is not as funny as one that needs to last, like, a 6 minute, like, laughing spiel. So, like, a 1 minute laughing joke would be, like, 6 faves, and 6 minute laughing joke would be, like, 400 faves. Anyway, yeah, so what was I gonna say? Right. So these aren't really jokes, I don't think. I kind of dabble with the non-joke, or like just like the observations, like things that I see, like walking around in this crazy city. Like I see something, I'll want to share it with not my audience, but my circle, like these people who get it. Like I'll be like, oh, they'll think this is funny. I just saw a person wearing, oh god, what did I see? I saw something funny the other day, but I can't think of that. Like I saw, what's funny? Whatever. I'm drawing a blank. I see funny things all over the place, and I share it with people, and that's okay. Anyway, so it's just like sharing. It's not really like giving people jokes. Like sharing. Okay, I'm gonna move on. So I kind of like felt restricted, by just like giving people what they wanted, because I'm thinking about things all the time. I wish I could turn my brain off all the time. That's why I drink and I don't want to think. I just want to turn my brain off, but I can't. So I turned to a private Twitter so I could talk shit on my coworkers because that's dangerous. That's someone I work with. I swear, it was so weird. And also my roommate, because my roommate follows my public Twitter, and I I talk about how I eat her food all the time. Just for talking shit about all the people right now. That's just something. For embarrassing things that I don't want to talk about now. Like mundane shit. What I think about. I mean, that's not for everybody, you know. No one really needs to, no one really gets that, you know. Yeah, so the thing is, it's just like really mundane shit, but like, if you can like see it. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really sad all the time. I'm miserable. I'm super depressed. I cry a lot. I am suffering from anguish all day. And but it's kind of fun to step away and laugh at it because, you know, what else are you gonna do? So I guess yeah. Okay, so I have this, and then, this is a present for you.
What is that?
When I freaked out, I was freaking out at work, and I got this email, and I was really scared, and I was really nervous. I was really scared. Anyways, okay, so when I tried to Twitter, I went to Foursquare and Forum because literally no one uses that. I wanted to post pictures of myself because I'm really vain because I'm insecure. So I post pictures of myself, and this is what it's like for me. That's what it's like. No one uses Twitter, so no one gets to see this. But if you want to go for it, you can see how it is for me in life. Also, here's another private feed. Oh god. Oh, right. So, this is an email to my friend. I have an email chain called The Thread, and it's 23 people. And I like, basically don't do anything with my life. I spend so much time alone. I'm at work, and then I go home and, like, work on projects. So just, like, stalking the internet and, like, freaking out that I'm not working on projects. But I do talk to these people 24/7, and it's kind of like it's a comedy circle where everyone bounces around ideas and, well, not really ideas, it's just like jokes. We just joke and we inspire each other, and we just laugh at the same things. It's just like people who really get it. These are the kinds of things that we think are funny. It's a thread. This is something. This is another thing. This is funny. This is hilarious. Okay. And so we just bullshit all day with the dumb, like, brainless stuff, you know? That we think is funny. And I guess it's important to have this circle that, I don't know, they inspire me to be funnier and better person than I love them. We also had a group show, and this is a sculpture that we made. Those are condoms, and they think cum is poison. It's just like a little inside joke kind of thing. It's a joke. So I have, that's what I do with my time. I work, I email, and I use Spotify. This is actually what we're listening to right now is this is a playlist called Divorced Mom. You just want to let that sink in. I have a bunch of, I really like making playlists because I sit at a computer all day and I listen to music. So I make fun playlists where I can like escape from my mundane life of copywriting and whatever. And I made a playlist called Indie Film in My Head, so I can like listen to it and pretend that I'm in my own movie when I'm like walking around the city like strutting, like suddenly I see or whatever, you know. I recently made a sci-fi playlist called Hot Teen Skater, and it's just like this guy invented in my head. He's a teenager, it's fucked up, and he's playing all of the music that he would listen to. I made one called Songs for Socios, and it's just like the management and like doctors and stuff. Sociopath music. It's not for everyone. And I made one called The Work Vacation, which is based off of the time I went on vacation with my dad's new family for the first time. And I was stuck there, and it was pretty terrible. I'm gonna say it. It was horrible. It has like the Macarena and stuff on it. Anyway, yeah, Spotify is great. Love it. It's something I do as a hobby. I don't make art. I just have this hobby with the internet. Another. Okay, so another weird hobby that I have is, of course, another app for social media. Let's just look at them, I guess. Look at the first one. So I think mops are funny. Come on. These work.
Hey Paris, look at that mop.
Can we see that again?
Hey Paris, look at that mop.
Yeah, so that's something that we do. So we haven't done that in a while. We should. What is this one? Okay. Oh fuck. Okay.
I just really like how I can be myself now.
Keep that one. Me with the mop. Okay. This is me with the mop again. I guess this is
Hey, Al, check out that mop.
In the air, in the air.
In the air? Yeah, I'm in the air. I love this one. Oh, okay, well, wrong name. This is what I was doing yesterday, if you guys want to say. Okay, this is what I did yesterday when I was toiling at my desk with the chicken. I was listening to I Am Fucking Crazy playlist. Okay. Oh, there's one more.
Next week on Mop Lives.
Don't talk about my kids, you psycho bitch.
Yeah, that's that. Stupid. I mean, they're all stupid. Done. Alright, so that's another hobby that I have. Oh man, okay. Anyway, so not fun. So God. So yeah, that's life. That's how I feel. So yeah, everything is a struggle, but I think you can make it funny if you like step away from the like struggle and just like poke fun at it. It's kind of like hyper slapstick humor or something. Yeah. That's how I feel. And so anyway, yeah, Twitter, mock vines. I just another hobby I have is writing. It's not really a hobby. I'm trying to like make it like my thing, which is effing psycho and crazy, and I don't recommend it to anybody because I feel nuts. Anyway, I've been so from my Twitter, people would ask me to like write for them. They just assume that I knew how to write, which is I don't know, whatever. So I was recently asked to write this thing for this mag. They asked me to do a two-sentence review of like some product for like Disown. I don't know. It was called Shoes and Shoes, and I presented them with something. They wanted me to review this ridiculous thing. These shoes, and I gave them. I have words, and this is what I presented with them. Everyone gave like 2 sentences, and they published this long ass thing. You can read that if you want to look it up. It's I'll just keep it on there. It's boring. Whatever. So I was just like, fuck rules, and I was freaking out, like, they're not going to take it, but they ended up taking it, and it was really cool. And I've just been, like, giving all of these, like, opportunities, and I'm taking them. It's cool. So right now I'm working on this book. It's getting published, which is very exciting. And I'm going insane writing it. Like, I'm not a normal person anymore. I don't see any of my friends. I don't leave. I just, like, chill in this fictional. It's a teen fiction book. It's crazy. And, so, how am I getting on this? So that's what I'm working on right now. Things have been great because of Twitter. I mean, here talking to you guys. And this is my last slide. That's stupid. And that's all I have to say. I'm done.
Thanks, Al. Do you guys have any questions for Al? Which pizza place in New Haven?
Which what?
Which pizza
It was
place?
called Town Pizza. It wasn't any of the good
It
ones.
wasn't Sally's or Petrol's.
No. People actually went to those pizza places. No one came into mine ever. Yeah.
Can I ask you some cocktail?
Well, yeah, of course. Just come up and have some.
No one's eating it.
Yeah, we'll see. Will you talk a little bit about how you sort of process the negative feedback that you get in videos and things? On Twitter, you're talking about getting faves and things like that, and giving you this sort of sense of meanings behind like why you're doing things. And then, but conversely, you think it's very funny because people can just comment or dislike something.
Yeah, totally. I made this video. It was stupid. It was like emojis that don't exist, but should. And I ended up like being in this I-beam show. Anyway, so whatever. But everyone hated it so much. They're like, this girl is annoying. Why does she think she could? Why is she making this? Why are we watching this? But the thing is, everyone was watching it, and I think that hate is kind of like love, and one of the same, and there's no such thing as bad publicity. That's how I feel about that.
Why don't you define yourself as an artist or a writer?
I don't make art. I don't like have any works to show. I don't make art. It's not what I do. I like work and I have hobbies, and I guess writing Writing isn't an art, it's more like a weird job or something to me. And I don't think I'm very good. So I don't like calling myself a writer because I think it's pretentious, and same with artists too.
Was your day job as copywriting?
Yeah, I have Elaine Bennis's job. I write for a catalog. I write every single piece in a plus size women's clothing catalog.
Plus size women's clothing catalog.
Yeah. Fun. Super fun. Not.
In what ways do you think that you are different in the way that you present yourself online and in person? How much of that's cultivated?
Oh, that's interesting. I think I'm pretty much the same as I am online. I know that's like it's not true, but I feel like I am. I'm like manic, and just as manic in real life as I am online. I'm just as sad and like pissed off as I am online. Yeah, I guess I kind of like I try to give more of an air of like a weird braggy, like I'm the shit online. I don't care what people think, but like I actually really care what people think of me. Yeah, so I guess I'm different in that way. Yeah.
I think one of the most interesting things is that you have, on one hand, I don't know if this isn't exactly so much a question, it's a comment, but on one hand you have like this thread going, you have this like Twitter following going, but then you have like make separate isolated accounts to do things that can be less filtered.
Uh-huh.
You know, and the thinking about the Lenny Bruce thing, he talks about the community, the audience is like, the audience is necessary for the joke to be a joke, but if you're doing it without, like, if you're doing it without an audience, like, it's not a joke anymore, it's just you entertaining yourself?
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm not an artist. I guess I'd still be having these thoughts, and I just keep saying them to all my friends or something anyway,
Yeah.
or just thinking them. But yeah, no, the audience is super important for anything, to like the tree falling in the woods thing. Or what do you think?
No, I it's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But I don't know. When it's like, what place is involved? Like, do you find it, like, how important is it as an indulgent activity?
How important?
Yeah.
It's basically my life. I'm on my phone all the time. It's sickness. It's bad. But yeah, so I try to step away and like work on the things like the book that I'm writing. So like I think the book is so hard for me because I can't get like the instant gratification that I get from like an RT or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's important. It's a weird addiction that I have, the gratification of a phase of my life.
But do you still get like faves or likes when you're doing the more clothes?
Well, I bet much fewer people will read the book I'm writing than that tweet that was my boyfriend's dad at Harvard, you know? It's like that's, yeah, there's different things, different audiences, you know?
I wanted to ask about distraction, like not only in terms of the work that's on the internet, but like your presentation right now with the music playing and everything, and kind of like what you feel like, yeah, because people are so distracted right now, like listening to music while you're doing something else, or you know, on your phone while you're talking to someone. When you say, you know, people may be less willing to read a whole book, read your quick tweet, and that's kind of like a quick distraction because they're doing something else. Like, what do you feel like? How do you feel that like affects school and like,
Distraction.
yeah, distractions, like.
I think that I need all the distractions I can get. Like I need to be drinking this beer. Yeah, it's hard because like life is really hard. I mean, you can't just like go straight head on into this scary thing. It's helpful to like distract yourself, even like watching a movie is a distraction. You know, you just like step away from like real life for a second. Not that Twitter isn't real life. Distractions. Yeah, I need them. They're important to me. Everything's crazy. You have to do all these things at once all the time. Without balance or something. I don't know.
It takes away at all from the direct experience.
Oh, totally, probably, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, if I'm like talking to someone about it, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm so bad at that. I'm on the phone, people are talking to me, and I don't hear anything they say. Yeah, I get distraction stuff too. Yeah, like things are shitty and vital at the same time, I guess.
I'm really interested in your Spotify playlist.
Oh, yeah?
Idea, because, especially since you write copy for your job, I was talking to someone recently who writes copy for, like, Google Drive, like, Google, like, playlist app, which sometimes I'm not really sure what it's called, but, like, Red Pin will be like, hey, you need to create, like, empowering, like, we want to talk to this. Like, and, like, you need to write copy for, like, this ad to appear, like, while they're listening to this.
Right.
So, I think, I don't know, it's an interesting idea, like Team Skater Boy. Like, there's, like, these different, you're kind of, like, creating these different characters, of people that would actually listen to it.
Exactly,
and, like,
yeah.
It's not like you, maybe, I don't know, maybe you love, like, those are so very, the characters, the music. But it's even just like, it's not even about enjoying the music. I think it feels, I mean, maybe.
It's definitely creating
it's
a weird little fictional world
that
you can like live in when you yeah, no, I like doing that. It's fun to create this like little weird world that you can live in. So you're listening to the music. I have a Wes Anderson one where you can pretend that you're in a Wes Anderson movie. Yeah. My friend Michaela made one called Drunk Ants on the Beach, and I think that's Drunk Ants on the Beach, yeah.
Wait,
that would be really good.
Or Twitter, like when you were a kid, like you could like create worlds or like share your thoughts in your free Twitter.
That's interesting. I had a live journal starting from, I got a live journal in 5th grade, and that was like a big deal for me. I guess I probably mentioned live journal. Live journal was huge for me.
What was your username?
It was called a pseudo tip. It's from a Brave song that's really emo. Yeah, so I liked it. Before that, as a kid, my parents really wanted me to be a writer, and I like rejected it because I was like, I don't want to do it parenting, you know, I want to be a princess. So yeah, I guess I've always kind of had. I kind of grew up on the internet. I had AIM. I got like AOL when I was in 3rd grade. So I've just like always been on the internet describing myself, just things. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the permission that you get from your self-deprecation to say other things that are more barbed or are like highly? I'm thinking you tweeted once that, paraphrasing, but it was, here's an idea, maybe you don't bring your giant baggy mountain bike on the train. Like, there's like like that volatile because, 2 minutes later there's this tweet about how like, you cried every day this week or something. So it's like, there's a push and pull that's going on, but I'm curious about if you're consciously thinking about any type of balance, or if it just sort of organically happens. Like, do you say something that's super gnarly on Twitter and then consciously like backstep and say something about yourself, like a lot of comedians will do that?
No, I kind of just let it rip. But I do think about if I'll look at my Facebook, I do all the time. If I start a bunch of tweets with I'm just like, bro, I need to chill out me and not do that. So I sometimes, but for the most part, it's just it's right off the noggin. Oh yeah. Tweeting is probably
What kind of tweets do you read? Ones you're not happy with?
Mean ones. I don't want people to think I'm mean. I don't think I'm mean, but sometimes I have a mean streak and I sometimes let that slip. And I don't want people to see that. I think I'm nice. I am nice. You have a bad email. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the process of making videos? It seems like you're pretty aware of your audience and this idea of instant gratification. But I was kind of surprised with the length of them. They're pretty long, and I think I think the humor is in the duration. And is that something you think about?
No, I wish they were shorter. The videos that I make, I kind of just make a list and try to get it over with without thinking really. I don't know. I haven't made a video in a while. It kind of freaks me out. People say mean things on the internet, you're a better face, so I've been self-conscious about that. But the duration, I looked at it shorter. That was actually the first time I've ever watched a video in a while.
So there's no rehearsing, there's just first take, basically?
That's not it right.
So how do you know when the joke is over?
Well, I don't even think of it as a joke. It's just kind of these funny things that I want to share with people. It's not really there's no punchline, I don't know, a lot of things just don't have punchlines. They're just funny.
I think the punchline though is the negative response.
When
you watch one of them and you look and they're 70% thumbs down, you're just well, no, because it affords you as an informed viewer who understands the humor that you're using to laugh at the people who are too dumb to realize that these videos are funny.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would never laugh at them.
Perceive that.
But isn't that position of elevating you as being smarter a position of being anxious, right?
Well, I
isn't
didn't
that
say that.
Being smarter than people is an objective fact. There are dumb people on the internet who let their brain rip, who are idiots and don't get it. And so yes, I get to laugh at them when they're this girl's so dumb and annoying. It's that's the point of the video, asshole.
I am dumb and annoying though. I get it.
I also feel there was something interesting watching that video inside the context of you telling us about your work. That reminds me about actually the first article, the one about this concrete comedy, and that kind of making your life or your comedic persona a long-term pursuit. Does that make sense? It felt funnier knowing about your Twitter presence and about all of this other stuff that you have done. In a way that maybe watching it in isolation, you wouldn't afford it. Yeah, it wouldn't have.
Yeah, no, totally.
Impact.
If I did not have the Twitter presence as small or whatever that it is, I don't think I would have made that video even. It's scary, but I know that the people I know they get it, like the comedy circle. And I like let her up and hope for the best. But yeah, I guess it is important that I had that before I made that. I don't know. Stand up? I did stand up one time in my life, and it was terrible. It was so bad. Actually, I did twice. The first time I did stand up, I read this thing called How to Get Over a Breakup, and it was just basically what I told you, and that was about like my gender and blah blah blah, and like all those crazy stuff that I did when I was getting over my ex-boyfriend. And that was fine because there was like 4 people there. And the second time I did stand up, there was like kind of a lot of people there, and I just read a list of things that stressed me out, and no one thought it was funny. No one thought it was funny.
It was funny. It was funny. It was good. Everyone loved it.
So we have to take a break so that I can get Casey dialed in. If you guys can vacate briefly and be back at 7:15. I don't mean to be rude, but we specifically asked that everybody not be in the room while I set this up. So.
You need more stuff?
Yeah, you guys can leave your stuff behind. If there's still somewhere Yeah, I got the smile thing. Like the smile back. I like this. Really?
I there wanted to run with back to the smile.
Here you go. Yeah, big feet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
week to watch some of the show Touching the Art. She's also done some great stuff with Z Files. And I saw her perform at Reflex via this method over I think it was maybe a month ago or so. But it was really fascinating to see how Casey took the concept of stand-up comedy, which she does very deftly live, and changed it for this web format, and really made a seamless transition. It's a little bit different than the live set, obviously, because of the intimacy of like a video chat, but it's really kind of great what she's done with it and the way that she's sort of exploiting the technology to be able to do something remotely. So I'm really glad that she could join us. And Casey, in just a second, I'm going to put the projector live, and then I will tell you to come out, okay?
Great.
Let me just go full screen. Where's the full screen? Somebody help me.
Settings?
There you go. Yeah.
And that says full screen because of what she's using. So, okay, Casey.
Oh, wow. Hi. Let me just stay in that light for a second. God, it's gorgeous. Thank you so much for having me. You can clap. I know that it's, as millennials, it's very hard for us to praise other millennials, and I am here to help you through that, and I understand that a lot of you think this is your show, but it's actually my show, and anyway. Thank you. I want to apologize for kind of using that cliche of like starting out of frame and then entering the frame and then falling out of frame. If you give me a box, like I'm not going to be in it. Do you know what I mean? I do use cliches, so sorry. But you deal with it. I know a lot of you are like frustrated because you're just like, I didn't want to see this test tube baby tonight. But like, sorry. I know a lot of you are thinking, shut up, bitch. Work with me tonight, and we'll make it worth our while. So, great. They were gonna fly me out. But I told them, I said no. Like, I was like, I don't need the Sky Miles. Just give them to the children. And, also my husband said that I can't go, so. We worked together on that decision, but ultimately, no. So, I think this works better anyway, And I want to say at this time that, like, my face is not usually this wide. And you guys know that, okay? It's obviously the aspect ratio, and, like, don't get cocky and, like, don't talk shit, okay? My face is lean, and you know that. I have a square jaw. and work for myself, okay? As a 21-year-old, really hard. You know what I mean? It's like really fucking hard. And when I said I was 21, I just felt this like wave of fear like take over the audience. And why do we recruit youth? Youth is a bird, and it only flies away. I don't. You know, and I have to apologize that, like, I lied. You know, I'm not yet 21. And I'm sorry I lied to you guys, but again, I feel the fear and the pain, just like you guys are in pain, like struggling with that. And you know, we're gonna work through it. So thank you. This is a huge week for me, actually. And it's pretty exciting. You're looking at like the hairiest girl in Southern California. It was announced, and the previous champion, you know, ended her reign, and because she's dead, and, you know, she died of obvious reasons. A broken heart. But also, she was so hairy that like she just died. But anyways, it's my time, you know, and it's like technically I'm actually the hairiest girl in New York as well, because I am bi-coastal. You guys know that. I don't hang out in Brooklyn. It's pretty much Tribeca exclusively. That's like not like specifically Tribeca. Thank you. I don't go to bed at night or don't wake up morning. Like, I don't adhere to those expectations, you know, because I freelance, and I love freelancing. You know, I love freelancing more than I love, which would shock a lot of you. Thank you. My close friends are shocked when they hear that, like, I love freelancing more than healthy snacking. It was really important to me to invent webcam comedy because I don't know why that's funny. You know, I wanted to invent webcam comedy because, number one, it's safer. It's easier for me to be 3,000 miles away from my audiences. You know, it's safer, but, you know, like, distance, for me, distance doesn't make the heart grow fonder. Distance keeps people the fuck away from me. I love just being, like, away. Anyway, the second reason I invented webcam comedy, I love using corporate entities to communicate and, like, kind of turn it on its ear and, like, use communication through the corporation to kind of defy it, but so doing it exactly the way that it told me to use it, and thus proving that I'm a slave. Which I know you as conceptual artists like love that too. Conceptual artists love fucking with the system. And God bless the coders, seriously. Like, God bless them and their frustration, you know? I host like a group therapy session made up of only coders. And it's amazing, it's beautiful. Like, we get to the bottom of like their hate and their anger and their frustration, and it's like, we actually had a huge breakthrough. Like, we got to the root of it, and ultimately these coders hate men. They're all men, including me. Anyway, and the last reason I wanted to, you know, invent webcam comedy is because I wanted to introduce prop comedy into your life and also into my life. I don't usually, when I do stand-up, I don't usually feel that comfortable like bringing a backpack full of props. So this really freed me up to like just have all my props here. So anyway, I just brought some like fun stuff, just like relics about like who I am, and you know, just to like, so you guys can know who I am. Anyway, you know, I brought this. This is a microphone, for those of you who don't know. And I brought it because, I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually, I was drawn to comedy early in life because of the symbolism of the mic and the mic stand. And, you know, many of you may see me sobbing in the street. And that was actually me communicating with the dead. I have a lot of amazing gifts, and one of them being able to see the shapes of people's void. And actually my void is exactly the shape of a mic stand. And it's right here, like the mic stand starts right here, and it just goes straight through my keyhole. Anyway, if you want to arrange like a private session where I tell you who you are and what your void looks like, you can do that. But just to give you guys a freebie, you know, I don't know if there's any Matts here tonight, but any guy named Matt, his void looks like a basketball. It's amazing and true. It just, across the board, I've never been wrong. Like, believe in me, okay? It's real. Because Matts love to shoot hoops. That's, and they're gay. So anyway. I've brought this. I don't know if you guys know about this. It's actually, this is a tiny woven basket, but more than that, it's a diva cut. And there's some groans. I'm not trying to gross you out, but like menstruation is real. So anyway, my friend made this for me, and in the home, it's handmade. And I just love this as an object because it just reminds me that, like, you know, life is hard, and there's no point in trying to make it easier.
Thank you. I also brought this. This is like huge for me and my family. This is actually a picture of me the day of my first flight lesson. The old story ends, like I became a pilot, and this day I actually clocked like 4 hours in the air, in the skies, so thank you. If I had told that young, if I could go back in time and tell that young me, like, that her adult self would become gluten-free, like, she wouldn't fucking believe it, I also brought this mirror. You guys know that, like, I'm the queen of mirrors, whatever. I love mirrors for their meaning. And, you know what? They tell you that it's a window, but we all know the internet is a mirror. Someone tweeted at me the other week. He asked me, you know, Casey, like, what kind of mirror should I get? And I told him, you know, like, I like 9 inches when you measure from the base. Standard thickness and unblemished. You know, you can get whatever thickness you want. You know, I don't know, like, what you want to hold at night. You know what I mean? The last thing I brought was this. This has helped me through a lot of hard times in my life. Someone gave this to me as a joke, like for Secret Santa 8 years ago. And it's not a joke, you know. I could flip to any page on this and just like, here, I'll just flip to any random page. I've actually highlighted this section. Full of gems in this like joke gift, okay? Opening parlay. They give you examples. Here's an example of what you should say for an icebreaker. What did you do today? I cannot tell you how helpful this has been to me. I just want to sing, you know. And they don't want to let me, you know. And it's like, it's so hard being a girl that has to hide that she can sing. I struggle really hard with just being myself, you know, and it's like, sometimes I just think like it would be the most selfish thing to like just be me. You know? And like, a lot of them might be saying like, Casey, just you, like just do you, and it's like, I can't, you know, because if you only knew how many young white males have played guitar for me. One-on-one. Like, I can't be me and be polite in that situation. I I would take that guitar, if I was gonna be me, I would take that guitar and I would smash it into 1,000 fucking pieces. But then I wouldn't do that. I'd be too scared because like I would, fear that the shards of guitar would turn into other guitars. Right down. Deep inside. When I keep it down, that causes problems too. I'm scared and alone. I'm female. And I'm not apologizing for that. I can tell that makes a lot of you really uncomfortable. Anyway, I'd like to introduce my app right now that I'm developing. We'll see it start to work. That's it. You're watching it right now. This is the app. I developed this using the most cutting edge. Just don't worry about her, she'll catch up, so don't freak out. Relax. I developed this app using the most cutting edge technology, and it does. And it'll be available in 2020. Growing up was hard. I'm just kidding. Grew up with every available resource. Like love, support, amazing dental. Yeah, but I'm proof that doesn't matter. I have a lot of anxiety disorders that I struggle with on a daily fucking basis. I'm scared of so much, I was noticing that like my vision was going and like I would just go blind, and I went to the doctor and like he didn't know what was wrong with me. And it was a male doctor. But not to say that like women can't be doctors, okay? It was male, and he couldn't find anything wrong with me. And like I realized, it took months, but I realized that like I was blinking. Hard, it was really hard to just that finding realization. I think now is a good time to tell you that like I cannot see or hear any of you. I am actually hard of hearing anyway, and like I turn that handicap into a talent, and I encourage you to do the same with whatever ails you. Does anyone want to see a different face? There's a different one. I developed this app so that you could, look like me. I like this one the best, I think. It's a great app. It just really smooths your skin, and I think that it's really, it's a conversation piece, It's a very limited conversation piece. It's pretty much a dead end. But anyway. Are there any cop worshippers here tonight? I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just trying to get an idea of the demographic here. I don't worship cop, despite my appearance. But it is fun to set up if I was going to, I would set up a mandala and you know what a mandala is? It's like an impermanent shape that you make in nature, and you can make it out of anything. You worship at it. And it's you can make it out of rocks and shells and flowers and dolls, just anything that you might have. Doll eyes, your friend's doll. I don't need to tell you guys that we're all millennials here, we're all straight edge. We're all doll collectors. This is a safe space to talk about our dolls and all those things. I was at Kmart getting my dolls for the week. And I'm reaching for my dolls, and I was like, Casey, what are you doing? And I stopped myself. And, it's so fucking obvious when we forget, locally sourced your dolls. And it's we as millennials spend our parents' money in, at fucking sustainable businesses. That's what we do. That's our generation's gift. I think it's a good time to bring up the reading assignment. I don't know if you guys did the reading, but I did. And I have to say that I have to apologize, but I just lied and I didn't read it. Because I don't fucking read. I don't fucking want to read anything. So I don't. It's just when I, I don't want to cry, so it's I never cry. Are there any questions? I can't see you or hear you. No?
Does anxiety and wanting to kill yourself make you funnier? And you, that's the collective you.
Wait.
What?
Who said I was suicidal? I'm happy.
Okay, never mind.
Wait, I missed the second part of your question. Can you repeat it?
Do you think people with a lot of anxiety and suicidal tendencies are funnier?
I don't know. I think that I have no idea. I'm way too self-involved to comment on right. I wish I could help all the children though, and I'll pray for them. Is there another question?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, please. Or yes. Okay, that's a no. I have a question for you guys. What is your least favorite part about the patriarchy? The answer is the men. I would have also said the women. Because it takes two to tango, as the expression goes. I'd like to share something with you guys. I know I've shared a lot, but you guys don't know this about me, but I actually have a rogue hair growing out of my cheek. And a lot of you might ask, you know, why doesn't she just jump off a bridge? I'll tell you why I don't do that. Because, you know, I'm fucking punk. And, you know, punk's still alive for hairy young women in this country, so fucking, you know, deal with it and shit. You're welcome. I have another question for you guys. Are you guys aware that I build robots? Is that a no? Okay, well now you know, and knowledge is power. You know, sometimes I just get so angry, like, thinking about systems that, like, I can't control. You know? Hello? I'm sorry, I just got. What happened? My doctor said when I blacked out that I should just go. I should go. You know, I hope that this presentation was helpful to you guys. Like my comedy, art, tech. I'm sorry, by the way, I'm sorry for the delay, but like that is part of the poetry of this. And I'm really sorry to, honestly, like, you guys are so cool, and like this was a lot of fun for me. But I have to go. Does anyone want to say anything? You know, burning desire, confessions, or fears before I leave? Nothing. It's okay, you'll get there. And yeah, maybe I'll see you guys around sometime. If you need me again for the Void consultation, like anytime, just Facebook message. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Good night. Take me out.
I'm taking you out.
Chandra, get me out of here.
Did you know there was going to be a delay?
Yeah. He has to. Yeah, she's screen sharing, so we're looking at her desktop, not actually looking at the Google Hangout that we're doing with her. So she's running so many different that it just does that, but pretty funny. What do you guys flip on like a set of lights? So we're kind of like we're trying to badly, but I don't want to have to make anybody stay later than needs to go at 8. But if other people want to have a conversation, I think we can hang out for a few more minutes and then head over to Josie's also, or we can just go over there if anybody wants to continue the conversation. But I don't know. Does anybody have any thoughts? Anything like that? Can we thank Al again really quickly?
John, what are your names?
All gutsy up.
Yes, all the best stuff, but I got nowhere to go.
What shade?
It's a matte gray. Well, it wasn't matte, but I used a matte top coat, so it's matte.
I'll bring something in for you. I got it in a bag and I know I'm not going to use it, so I don't want you to.
Thank you. Yeah, it was originally a low luster, but it still had a bit of a shine, which I did not care for, so hence the matte application on top.
Can I ask why you chose to start the course with people who use comedy in internet formats as opposed to like the traditional?
Yeah. I mean, some of it was just sort of timing in the way that things worked out. Like Al was available now, and then Casey, this was the day that she also asked if she could do it, and I thought because of their sort of, the fact that they both use those platforms in their approaches, it would work really well to have them in the same class to kind of have their work presented side by side, even though their content is very different, or their approach or the way that they even describe their work of themselves varies greatly. But it's interesting to think about these people who sort of are, I guess we could say like digital natives or internet natives or whatever people want to say, who grew up with this technology being ubiquitous and having access to it, and that it is this sort of platform or method of distribution where they can circumnavigate the traditional sort of context in which one has to pursue comedy or being funny or being seen, because like I'm sure a lot of you guys know if you've been to them, like the open mic things at a comedy club can sometimes be abysmal and maybe like aren't necessarily in terms of if somebody's not trying to go that route. Like there's this, if you're a traditional stand-up comedian, there's sort of this route that one wants to go where you do these open mics until you start getting invited, and then you're like featured, and then you're opening with people, and then you ideally go on tour, and then eventually you get on a late night show, and then that ends with a movie career or like a sitcom or something. But there are people who are really interested in comedy. What is going on?
It's just funny that you projected this whole arc of like comedian career.
Well, that's most of my friends who do traditional stand-up approaches. That's like what they want to do.
I know, like, that's the dream.
Yes.
It's just weird to hear it encapsulated.
Yeah.
But that's sort of, well, the same, I mean, we could do that with like people who are pursuing visual arts or music or whatever. Like best case scenario, that's what most people kind of want to happen to legitimize their practice. But there are people who operate on the fringes who are using humor in this way that doesn't make sense, which is kind of why the Concrete Comedy Primer was the first thing I wanted people to read. And then the John Lyman piece about audience and sort of this relationship, and how what Al and Casey do by employing these different technology platforms sort of usurps the power of the audience in this interesting way, where like it's no longer required for someone to laugh in this sort of like 1-to-1 ratio in order for you to be making comedy, and you can build this audience that can see the work in a residual capacity, like it can get shared or linked to. It doesn't need to happen in real time, and I think that that's an interesting shift that's happening right now in terms of the way that people are being funny. And you can, and you think about what we're exposed to in terms of what when you see comedy or you think of the term, and then you go to your Netflix and you click on that genre. All of the films are just a pretty predictable mix of type of things, but there's a generation of people who are using different formats, and a lot of it can probably be attributed to like Tim and Eric also, in terms of like this radical shifting of what people sometimes call like anti-comedy or non-comedy. And so I just thought it was kind of nice to bring in some people off the bat, and Jason Musson next week as well, who Jason makes what I think are concrete comedic objects in his paintings and sculptures and things like that, but he became known and given the opportunity to present those to the world by using a very similar medium to what Al's doing, which is sort of putting these videos up that you don't really know what the audience is going to be at any point, or you have no idea what the response will be. But there's this interesting thing to use that method and not have to, you don't need an audience to exist to have made a comic action type of thing, which I think is kind of like something that we're facing for the first time in terms of looking at the history of humor. Although people do, like, I can't remember what exactly somebody asked you, Al, but maybe Lex, you asked about, or if it was just to like entertain yourself or something. And in some senses, that's like totally, you're still doing comedy even if you don't think anybody's looking at it. Like you do something funny, and maybe sometimes there's an audience, and maybe sometimes there isn't. And I think that's, I like that flip so that it's not always this kind of like one-to-one relationship of audience and comedian, because that seems a little archaic, even though I think it's still really valuable. Like I love going and seeing, you know, like going and seeing like Norm Macdonald do stand-up or something is an extremely rewarding experience. Like go watch somebody who just kills at this craft. But there are all these other people who don't necessarily want to stand up and do observational, illusionistic, like narrative-based humor, I guess.
I wonder, it seemed like in Casey's video, like she didn't have a view of us. Was that true? Like
yeah,
it was just of the wall, right?
Yeah,
And
she can hear us.
Right.
So she's, well, obviously she answered your question, but yeah, no, she can't see the audience, which is kind of a fascinating thing.
Does she talk it, or has she said anything about like why she chooses to do that? Or I mean, I'm guessing it has something to do with the sort of delay and that sort of audience-lessness of going through this like Skype delayed meeting. But
I mean, she understandably doesn't like to. It's so Casey's sort of like, if we look at this big spectrum of like where people are at in terms of like their approaches to comedy, Casey's like right of center just a little bit in terms of like traditional stand-up. Like when she does stand-up, it looks, sounds, and feels like stand-up. And so she has a relationship with an audience in that capacity. I think it's simply the means of the technology why she can't see us in particular, but I think that there's something really interesting about that as well. But I haven't spoken to her directly about it because like a lot of people who maybe do practice in some capacity a more traditional approach to comedy, she doesn't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like her methods and decisions, like we don't have crit after stand-up comedy. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like it's a space where these things happen, and then you either thought it was funny or you didn't. And it's like sort of in the John Lyman reading, like you can't retroactively like revisit a joke and decide if it was funny or not. So I asked her if she wanted to kind of do like a Q&A, and she did kind of like a light one, but she was pretty.
It was also awkward.
Yeah, she was pretty adamant that she doesn't want to do that. She
Yeah.
was like, I don't want to do a performance, because if any of you guys do performance work, it's like, do a performance and then you're like in this zone, and then it's done, and then all of a sudden you have to have a conversation about it. It's like kind of ridiculous and not very productive. Yeah, like the school that I used to teach at started making students whose thesis involved a performance, like do the performance the day before they did their oral defense, because it was so obviously insane after somebody would do like a 45-minute thing and then be up there and they'd be like, can you talk about class? Like, they're like all performance stoned, you know? Like,
is it maybe a little too obvious the fact that he is talking about a joke and measuring whether or not it was funny? Like afterwards? Yeah, like it says, oh, you can't like decide afterwards whether a joke is funny or not, but all of these things that he's doing are just deciding afterwards whether it was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting paradox in there. I feel like that's a tough thing with humor theory in general.
Yeah.
Like it's really
sucks the funny out of it.
Yeah, it's really hard to like look at something. I feel like, you know, and I've only like emailed with Lyman, I don't know him personally, we've just like corresponded a little bit, but I think he's really trying to look at like the topography of comedy at large, like in looking at contextual cues like audience, like an Australian audience versus an American audience, and he's sort of making the argument that Americans demand to be outraged, like they want to be made abject, and so that's why like those types of jokes or comedy land in the United States is because people here feel fucked, I guess, in general. So like it's like you can do that type of stuff. But yeah, it's tough to read about, and then to say that, and then be like, but so you can't do this, but allow me to. I mean, it's a pretty standard philosophical approach.
But I think there's a difference between like LOL funny and haha funny. Like he's talking about something that like is funny, and you don't have to laugh at it. Like Conan O'Brien was saying, like he's always around like these people who are funny, and he'll say, somebody will like present to him a joke, and he'll be like, oh, that's really funny, and like not laugh at all. But he knows it's funny, it's gonna kill it when he like does it on stage. So like there is that like the different kind of like spectrum of funniness.
I can't remember what NPR show it was on a long time ago. They were talking with a bunch of people that write for The Onion, and like about how brutal that like pitch thing is every week, where they like all sit around a table and like pitch the headlines before the articles ever get written, and no one laughs, basically. Like everybody just sits there and they're like mad at each other, like and everyone be like, that's fucking hysterical, we're using it. We should ask, when Lane's here, we should talk to her about, I mean, I don't know, Lane writes freelance for The Onion, but I imagine it's kind of like anybody who writes, like sometimes you pitch something to your editor and they're just like, no. And you're like, okay.
And you don't think that would happen in a round table, like prepping for the Daily Show every day?
Sure, yeah, I'm sure it does, yeah. Or any sketch comedy show or anything like that.
Or like SNL television, it's supposed to be like really brutally, nobody laughs. And at the end they'll be like, you're right. Like, what, why?
But it seems like writing for comedy is entirely different than actually the action of comedy.
Selling the joke.
Yeah, the performance of it.
Yeah, but he's writing about comedy.
What? Oh,
Writing about comedy.
yeah. Writing about comedy, not writing comedy.
Is there anyone that you've come across in your research that writes about comedy in a humorous way?
I kind of think the Critchley book's pretty funny. Like I read it on a plane and was like cracking up, which was strange. And then I mentioned that I tried to like butter him up to get him to come, you know, in the initial email. I was like, hey, what's up, fanboy here? But I was basically just like, this is the first time I've read a book that was on comedy where you like use jokes or like an approach where several times I started laughing. Like his observations were really poignant. And he wrote me back, yeah, I'll come. Oh, sure, I have a barrel of laughter. And what is this like? Fucking sadness.
Have you sent any excerpts from that yet? Or is that...
The last email, maybe it was a couple people told me that just didn't make sense. The last email that I sent, the week 2 one, had the Lyman essay attached, but where I mentioned Critchley's On Humor, there's a hyperlink on the title. And if you click that, you can download the whole book from my Dropbox. So it's like an 80-page PDF. But it's a pretty quick read. But I sent it early just so that like I know like if we wait till the week before and it's like read these 80 pages, like I'd rather like do a chapter here and there as you're kind of like it's coming.
Who is Critchley keyed up against? Which guest?
He's here by himself. So most
he is coming?
Yeah.
Fanboy work.
Oh yeah. It's you just say Bruce. I don't know. But yeah, most of the other guests, besides when Chloe and Fake Injury Party are here, basically everybody's going to be just a one-person guest. So it'll be also a little more like a roundtable discussion with that person. But I really, really wanted Casey to be able to join us too today, and so I wanted to make sure that we had space for her to do that. Like next week with Jason, I think. What I'd be interested in talking about with him and maybe sort of encouraging you guys is to look at Jason's visual art in addition to the art thoughts things, because he made those like 4 years ago at this point. And
has he stopped now? Those are done?
Yeah, he hasn't done one of those videos in several years, and I think that he's obviously very fond of those videos. He made them, he likes them. They made him extremely popular in the art world. But I think it's also something where like he very intentionally like dropped Tennessee Youngman, like the character, because he was like, I don't want to become a caricature of myself. Like I am showing in Salon 94. Like I can't keep doing the same thing. And also he didn't want it to run out of steam. But like looking at, we can of course talk about that work because I'm super fascinated in his like adoption of this technology, kind of like the same way Ryan Tricardon used it to sort of propel himself. And also the interesting thing, and I actually meant to ask Al about it, but the like YouTube versus Vimeo, like the joke, like if you put something on Vimeo, that means it's like a serious thing. Like, Vimeo. Vimeo. But if you put it on YouTube, it's just like fuck it. in kind of a fun way. I like the mentality of that, but, so we can definitely talk to him about that, but I really wanted to talk to him about like his art practice also, like, I don't think
Doesn't he have a new video? Like,
He's
he has something out.
He has a show at ICA right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah, at the ICA. To go, I'm gonna try to go. I wanna go one of these weekends. It would be super fun, that show. I just saw some like Instagram pictures from it.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
How long is that up for?
It's gotta be at least like 6 weeks,
Like
right?
just-
You know?
Till December, I think.
I don't think, maybe October, but.
I think it's way longer.
But it just opened, so.
Yeah, it opened on Friday, right?
Philadelphia.
Yeah. Philly field trip.
Yeah, let's get a bus.
Gonna be a Mexican
Let's get the
party.
limo, let's get the limo going.
I'm a limo.
The limo, I think only like 8 people, like, the limo's deceptive. I think only like 8 people can fit.
Yeah.
Not much of a party can fit. Yeah, it would be, I mean, if people want to go, please let them organize it and go. I kind of have to figure out when I can go, but I will let people know if we want to try to like coordinate a thing. That would be super funny to all go to the show and do selfies.
But it's a career, it's like a mid-career retrospective, it's not new work, or is it?
No,
It is
it's
new
brand
work.
new, yeah,
Oh,
it's all brand new collaborative stuff that it is, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the text is actually from like 5 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago. He wrote the poem, which is from writing in 2001. So it's like old work.
Cool. Well, I guess let's wrap up if anybody wants to.
I said, let's wrap up, and if anybody wants to continue the conversation, we'll go ahead and thank you, Al, thank you, Casey. We'll see you guys. Oh, class next week is at 8 p.m. I have to work the books there all day, so it ends at 7, so class is at 8, not 6. I will say that in the email.